Hello and welcome to episode 1 of Trophy Unlocked Reviews, a video game review show with a twist. In this show I simply review a game's trophies or achievements, which is something that normal reviews strangely never mention, even though they are an important and new aspect of modern video games. Today I shall be looking at Double Dragon Neon on the PSN. The game has a total of 13 trophies available to unlock, broken down into 9 bronze, 3 silvers and 1 gold trophy. It's a pretty easy 100% to get, with only 1 or 2 tricky trophies that require some grinding to max out the required skills. You may also need a friend to help you with some of the co-op trophies in the game. So, with that out of the way, let's begin the trophy review of Double Dragon Neon. Metalhead is the obligatory easy trophy, and one that you'll most likely unlock first. It acts as an introduction to the shop, leading on to the MaxFiedelty trophy, which requires you to max out everything. For this one though, you simply need to spend some of the money that you collect in the stages to upgrade a song, and ding, the trophy is yours. Well done. Gleam On is another bronze trophy, and it requires you to dodge and get the gleam effect 50 times. This trophy will come over time, and you should get it by the end of your first playthrough on normal. It simply requires you to dodge at the last possible moment, which then rewards you with a temporary damage increase. You'll know if you're doing it right when you see the red circle appear after dodging. To be honest, it's a rather dull trophy, but at least there is some skill involved to get it. I'd much rather have this than a simple complete stage 1 trophy any day, which thankfully this game doesn't have. This Channel Sucks was one of my favourite trophies to get in the game, not because of the challenge involved, but because of the humour linked to it. Aside from the combat, one of the game's strongest points is its 80s style and humour. The game had me laughing several times throughout, especially with anything involving the game's boss, Skullmageddon. You first encounter him in level 3, which is where this trophy occurs as you enter his Rocket Dojo base. The trophy requires you to destroy all of the TVs throughout his base, and this is where the comedy comes into it. Whenever you destroy a TV, you'll hear the boss complain over the comms, berating you for destroying his expensive TVs for no apparent reason. There's then another funny moment at the end of the game, where a frustrated boss lists all of the problems you've caused him, even mentioning the fact that he's still annoyed about the TVs you broke earlier. It's little humorous touches like this, which make an otherwise simple and boring trophy stand out and actually be a fun task. It's quite a simple trophy really, as most of the TVs are in easy to reach areas that are usually on the back walls in a room, allowing you to simply walk up to them and destroy them with a couple of punches. However, the level also contains a couple of TVs that are easy to miss first time through, as they are slightly off screen over bottomless pits to the right or bottom of the screen. To get these TVs, you'll need to have developed the fireball and bomb toss skills, as that's the only way of reaching them, so there is a bit of strategy involved. In short, it's a fun if mindless trophy that's actually humorous to complete.
Stop destroying my things!
Weapon Master, another bronze trophy, requires you to use every weapon in the game at least once. Now this is a fairly standard trophy and typical of the bronze type. You'll no doubt get this on the first playthrough if you simply pick up and use each weapon you come across. Simply throw or swing it at an enemy, either one will count towards the total. However, there's one negative thing about this type of trophy, and it's that there's no way of telling what weapon you've used or not. It's a problem that most games have with these kill X or use X specific things have, in that there is no checklist or in-game way of telling you how many you have or haven't done yet. It's not so much a problem on this game, as it's a fairly small game, so replaying the levels won't take long. However, it should at least include a checklist to help players cross off the weapons they have used. I had this problem with the hairpick trophy, which is quite similar, and it was rather annoying to have to retry each level in order to throw the pick at each enemy again, just to find the one that I missed. I mean, how hard can it be to add a simple list to one of the menu screens? It's easy, right? Another bronze trophy, Pick a Winner, requires you to nail all the enemies with the hairpick weapon. This trophy is kind of cool and a bit different. Throughout the game, you will find many weapons such as bats, knives, and the classic pipe to deal extra damage to the enemies. Yet, there's one item that you'll find a lot of, which doesn't really do very much at all, the pink hairpick. When you throw this at enemies, all that really happens is that it gets stuck in their hair, so it's kind of like a comedy weapon. I think it deals some damage, but it's such a small, insignificant amount that you need not have bothered in the first place. However, its one use is to unlock a trophy by throwing it at all the enemy types. It's quite a clever one really, as their placements in the levels are quite tricky. You'll sometimes come across them, hidden behind crates or rocks that needed to be destroyed, while some are out in the open, strategically placed next to much better weapons to tempt you into taking a much better weapon like a bat and leaving the pick behind. Some levels only feature one pick too, forcing you to carry it through the majority of the stage to reach that new enemy type you need to throw it at. When you're holding it, you can no longer punch, as that will throw the weapon, so you instead have to rely on your kicks and special moves. It's a good trophy in that it offers you a choice within the game, which enables you to play a level much differently. The challenge seems simple, just pick it up and throw it at an enemy. Yet because of their placements, some of the stages can be tricky, as you'll have to carry it some way. When you're holding it, as I said, you can't punch, as that will throw it. You only get one throw to, as it's then lost. Even if you miss an enemy, it will just go off the screen and disappear. You are then forced to go through using just the kicks to try and clear out the enemies before picking it up. The trophy can also be frustrating at times, especially if you throw it and miss. I had to pre-play many levels sometimes just to get one of the enemies that I kept missing with a pick. There is also no checklist to help you cross off the weapons, which can really add to the frustration, especially when you're missing just one enemy and you don't know which one it is. Mr. Perfect requires you to complete any level without taking any damage whatsoever. Now this one at first can seem like one of the game's harder trophies, but in reality it's actually one of the easiest bronze trophies to get, providing you've upgraded some of the mixtapes. For that reason, I suggest leaving this one and its co-op counterpart until last, as it will make it much easier. When playing through the game as normal, you'll want to spend your money and mithril upgrading the Magic Gambit and Dragon Swarm abilities to level 50. I did this with them both maxed out, but you can probably get away with it at a lower level if you try. Once they are maxed, set the game back to normal difficulty and choose the first level. When it begins, make sure you're using Dragon Swarm and Magic Gambit. With these on, you can now easily walk through the level, summoning the dragon to defeat any enemies you encounter. At times, you may wish to wait for its power to recharge before moving on to the next set, though it should be enough to handle all the tricky spots. You can also one-hit kill enemies by running and sliding into them, so use that for any single enemies you see, as to not waste a dragon summon. Once you complete the level, the trophy should then pop while Billy is doing his excellent Bill and Ted impression. If you wanted a challenge, you can do it without this method, but that requires you to be good at dodging, and some of you may struggle. On the whole though, it's a very simple trophy, with a slight challenge, providing you do it without cheating with the Dragon Swarm. Victory is the trophy which unlocks after completing the game for the first time. Now, you'd think that it was a fairly standard trophy, but it's actually really cool the way it unlocks. As you defeat Skullmageddon for the final time, the end credits start to roll with a rather unique song. Now, I don't really want to spoil it for those who haven't experienced it yet, but let's just say it's all about the song. These last two bronze trophies are unique in that they are hidden within two of the game's stages. The first trophy, Fuzzface, requires you to summon a fairy-type creature who seems to like you a little too much on level 6. As you're playing, you'll come across 2 stones at the bottom of a ladder. Standing in between them and crouching 7 times will summon the creature, who then follows you around dropping health packs. This made me smile quite a bit, as it was so random and the fairy seemed to be a great help. However, it has a nasty habit of dropping them right after you die and respawn. It's no use to me now, is it, you little... Anyway, the second unique trophy is a foot face, which takes place on the level afterwards. Here you start in a cell and escape by hitting the punching bag. If you stay and hit the punching bag 87 times, you'll hear a noise, and when you walk right, you'll enter a secret area. Your task is to then defeat wave after wave of increasingly tough enemies, while also traversing through a tricky platforming section. Once you've done that, you're back at the cell along with your trophy, and can carry on as normal. Weird, huh? There are also 3 silver trophies.
What?
Mr. Perfect.
Flames of Fury and Rage, come to my aid!
With friendly fire without taking any damage, and it's actually easier than
It's go time.
As you can
Flames of Fury and Rage, come to my aid!
The other 2 silvers involve completing
Awesome
the
looking
game
dragon, lend us your power!
These
That was my hand, Dragon Kid! Lend us your scaly prowess! Dragon...
MaxFidelty is the game's only gold trophy, and is where you'll be spending the majority of your trophy hunting time. The gold trophy requires you to upgrade all of the songs to level 50, meaning you will need to collect lots of mithril from defeated bosses to unlock each tape, and then even more money from the levels to be able to upgrade each tape to level 50. The main problem I had with this trophy was the huge grind involved to get enough cash. I guess the point of this trophy is to increase the game's lifespan, which it definitely succeeds at, adding more hours to the game time. However, the biggest problem I had with it was how I had to collect 2 types of currency, the mithril to get the tapes, and then the cash to upgrade them. The amounts are vastly different, with the money taking much longer to grind out than the mithril. I had to play the levels over and over and over again on the highest difficulty to get to around $6,000 per level. However, by the time I had enough, I had over 200 extra mithril that was of now no use to me whatsoever. Why oh why couldn't I just simply sell any unwanted mithril in the shop to get a little bit more money? To be fair, the game does offer you some free tapes that the enemies drop. However, enemies will always drop specific types even when you've already maxed out on that tape. Again, you end up getting duplicate tapes which are just dead and can't be sold by the player or used in any form. Why can't the tapes that the enemies drop be ones that you need instead of just useless dupes? It's little things like that which make this game's most annoying trophy, this one. If it wasn't for the fact that the levels are fun to blast through, this trophy would have felt like even more of a major grind. Brings us to the end of the trophy review for Double Dragon Neon. On the whole, it's a fairly good list with several funny and interesting trophies, such as the smashing of the TVs and finding the fuzzy companion. The only annoying trophy is the gold one, as it takes a while to get the required cash to buy all of the mixtape upgrades. That being said, the game is very enjoyable and funny, which makes this list a really enjoyable one to aim for 100% trophy completion. For those struggling with co-op, a soon-to-be-released online patch will make those trophies easier to obtain, so then everyone's a winner. This is a great game and worthy of a 9 out of 10 for its trophies. Thanks for watching. There'll be a new episode up soon.
High five me!